Okay, this is a tutorial for the sunflower design. So it is basically the super design with an extra layer. So I'm using 20 for the green or your back layers, 10 and 10 for seam and cross weave 1 and then cross weave 2. Then we've got all of this is pom-poms, but you need to put it on in 2 parts, each colour. So I've got 25 yellow and I've got 15, 14 brown. You don't need to use that amount if you don't want. Follow the amounts for the super design, and then you only need 10 for your extra layer. But I'm using more because I bought more, so I'm going to use it all. So we need to start with one group of 10, and you're going to do your seam and cross weave 1. So I'm just going to do it time lapse. I'm not going to explain the seam and the cross weave 1 because it's in every other tutorial. So that's 10 balls of wool around twice for the seam, and then cross weave 1 is 3.5. That's just where mine went to. I've saved this because you're going to need some of your back colour to tie your in-betweens. Now you need cross weave 2. I'm going to do that in a time lapse. So yeah, if you have not made a blanket before, I don't suggest starting with this design. I'm assuming everyone watching this tutorial has used my tutorials before, so you will know how to do a seam, a cross weave and a cross weave 2. And most of you are probably only watching this part just to make sure there's not a little secret step that you might have missed. There's no secret steps, I promise you. It is the super design with an extra layer and a different way to cut. That's all it is. So that is cross weave 2. I had a bit of tangling to do at the end, but it was free and to like there. So 3 and just over a half. Now it's time to add the first few pom-pom layers. So you want your first group of yellow. That's what we're going to be using. So you're going to tie it onto your corner nail, and we are using the pattern of 3. So miss this nail, take it around this nail, miss a nail, wrap 3, up, miss, wrap 3, down, miss, wrap 3, up, miss, wrap 3. So that is the pattern that we're going for. What you're going to do is you're going to take that down and up, so twice, and then you're going to take your second group and you're going to tie that on, and you're going to take it down and up twice. You can do it twice or 4 times as long as you do them even. It just makes the sunflowers look more even at the end, and it should make you need to trim the yellow less, if at all. that's just both layers twice. This is the petal colour, so obviously I'm doing sunflowers, but whatever flowers you're doing, this is the colour of your petals. So you don't need to leave any of this to tie. So you can just keep going there and back until it's all gone. Right, first group of brown. This is the centre of your flower. We're just doing the same pattern. You're just following the lines of yellow. So you're going to do the same again. You're going to go down and up, and then you're going to tie this group onto this corner, and you're going to go down and up, and then you're going to continue 2, and then 2, and then 2. But remember, it needs to be tied in brown or in your centre of your flower colour, so you need to save some to tie. So that's all my brown layer added. I've got this left, and I have a bit of brown left from the last sunflower blanket. You need 3 strands to tie. So these ones, which are going to be the pom-poms, you tied in brown, and these ones are what I said before, they're your in-betweens. They're going to be tied in green. So I've already started tying. There's a couple of ways to tie this design. So edges where your seam is, we tie the usual way through all 4 of the cross sections. These ones we tie like we tie the ombre, because there's only 2. Well, there's 4, but there isn't the usual cross section. We've only got X's on this design. So these are your in-betweens, going to be tied in green, and then these are your pom-poms tied in the centre of your flower colour. Three strings. In through the top left and out through the bottom right. You're taking it all the way through to the back. We're tying this layer to the green at the back and to the seam. So tie it, pull it as tight as you can, knot it. Take your long piece in through the bottom left, all the way through and out through the top right. Tie it. You need to pull it as tight as you can. And then knot it. And then cut it off. Cut it quite close, because you snip away a lot of the brown on this design. So that's the edges where your seam is. Your seam along the sides, the seam along the top. You're gonna tie how I'm gonna tie this one now. So, I mean, they line up pretty well anyway, but you might have to do a bit of arranging on the pom-pom placement. So 3 strings. In through the top and out through the bottom. Take it around again. This is how we tie the ombre design. You want to tie it, then you want to take this piece and this piece, and you need to pull and wiggle. Tie it, do it again, pull it and wiggle it. See how it's giving me all of this to take up? And a third time, pull it, wiggle, and then you can tighten it the rest of the way by pulling it, tie it, cut it off. So that's how you tie your petal colours. Now in between the greens, you're just going to tie through the sides on the edges, like so. You need it quite long because, so this is literally just a simple knot, because this isn't holding any pom-poms or anything like that. And take the 2 around the nail, snip it in between, because this will join the tassel when the blanket's finished. These ones in between your pom-poms, you go in through the top and through the bottom. And again, it's just one knot because it's not holding a pom-pom. You can't leave them untied. Cut them quite short, these ones. The pom-poms will cover this. So yeah, you can't leave these untied because it'll be too easy to pull on the back, and it'll be too, I don't know what the word is, but you can't leave them untied anyway. So yeah, tie those ones, cut short, tie these ones, and cut long enough to join your tassel. And then, yeah, ombre tie, and on the seam, the original tie through all 4 cross sections. Your seam at the top is your ombre tie. Your corners is your all 4 cross section tie. This is what you're looking for. So all your edges should have a long bit. Every brown triangle should have a green X inside. If there's no green X inside, you're gonna have to untie and tie it again, because on this design it's really quite easy to tie that into there and you won't realise until it's too late. I tend to tie in sections, so I've got that much brown tied. I'm going to go back and tie the green, and then I'll move down to that section. when it's all tied, pom-poms and in-betweens, you need to now separate the brown layer from the yellow to make your first cuts. So you've got to separate the brown and cut that quite close to the middle, and then you're going to cut the yellow halfway. So obviously I can't do that one-handed, but yeah, you're going to separate the brown first, cut it really, really close. Then you're just going to cut your yellow in the middle. Obviously you're not cutting your green layers, and don't forget that there is a green layer underneath running the same way. So be very careful. I just nearly broke my neck. So yeah, on your edges it's actually really easy to separate them. So separate the brown, take your scissors down as far as they'll go and cut it off. There is quite a bit of waste on this design, unfortunately, but it can't be avoided. So yeah, separate the brown, take your scissors as close to the centre as you can get them, and just snip it. Be careful not to snip your fingers off. That's how you're cutting your brown colour. So you've literally not really got anything of it left. And then your petal colour, you're just going to cut in the centre. Separate it from the green. Like so. And then, so on the edges I like to cut a bit over halfway. But these ones you're going to cut exactly in the centre. And that is how you're going to create your sunflower. When you've cut all of your pom-poms, it's time to take it off the frame. That's just a stray cut there that I've snipped into by accident. So yeah, taking it off the frame, you're just cutting in between every nail or screw, whatever you want to call it, all the way around. Leave your corners until last, so cut all your sides and then do the bottom corners and then your top corners. It'll just keep it in shape while you're taking it off the frame. Also, make sure that you match your project. Always matching.